Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Pico, president of the chamber, and I'm spending a few minutes with each of the candidates who are running for a seat on our chamber board of directors this year. And we're recording these so our members can get to know our candidates better before voting in our election. Annually, as you know, our members have the opportunity to elect 3 people to the chamber's 18-person board, and then our existing board elects 3 more members from the remaining pool of candidates. So we have 6 new board members each year. The first phase of our election, where you, our members, will vote, will run through October 20th. And remember that each business or nonprofit member gets just 1 ballot to vote for 3 candidates. I am pleased to be joined by Maggie Blue today, board candidate, and Maggie is has her own business, Magpie Creative, and is also associated with MCH. Maggie, welcome.
Hello.
Good to see you. So,
you too.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for your willingness to serve on the board. So tell us a little bit about you personally first. Where's home and family, or any other stuff you might want to share about that? So
let's see. I am originally from the Midwest. We moved here after I graduated high school, and then I stayed in Ohio for college. My folks are here in the Mid-Coast, and then my sister is down in Scarborough. After a brief stint in Nebraska with my now husband, Dwight, we moved back here I would say about 20 years ago. I moved back to help my father start a business. We live in Warren on Main Street. We've been here for 19 years, and my husband, Dwight, actually has been teaching high school English in Rockland for the same amount of time. So I'm sure somebody knows Dwight Blue, Mr. Blue, and has
legendary Mr. Blue at Oceanside High School.
Your kids, or he could have taught some people on the board at this point.
Well, that's true, right?
I also have a 15-year-old who just started at Madomic High School. So I have a freshman. So life is full.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I know, and he's 5'10". And
wow. Yes. And he's happy to tell you that, I'm sure.
Yes, often.
Yes. Yeah. Good deal. So as I said in the beginning, you have a couple of hats, at least a couple that you wear professionally, Magpie Creative, and recently taking on some work with MCH. So tell us a little bit about all of that. So.
Yeah, I've been, I've owned my own business now for pretty much the entire time they've been in the Mid-Coast. But I've also held jobs in the marketing communication sectors of a lot of various, I guess, business sectors in our Mid-Coast area, all really in a marketing and communications capacity. MCH, Methodist Conference Home, but we go by MCH, and specifically, I'm helping with the Meals on Wheels program. I'm contracted with them as their development and communications director to kind of move them into 2022. So you'll be seeing a fall appeal from them come soon. So, and in addition to that, I also do a fair amount of nonprofit. I have a fair amount of nonprofit clients all over the state, and actually a couple out of state. But I tend to have nonprofit clients or small businesses as well. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So the kind of my work history, I've again always been kind of in that marketing communications capacity professionally. Started out with as the community manager, marketing manager at Lifelight. Then I moved over to Nowalin, and then Penn Bay Healthcare, where I was a community liaison and community relations director in that department. So there's the healthcare piece. And then I moved over to, I was actually the marketing director at the chamber.
Indeed,
when Tom started back in I think 2012, 17, something like that. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of I'm pretty well versed in chamber business. And then from there, I went out on my own full time. And so I've had my own business now since then. And I guess let's just say it's safe to say that when either my husband or I go to Hanford, it takes a long time.
Yes, indeed.
We know a lot of
people. Familiar with how that works. Yes.
Yeah. between the 20 years of students and parents that he has,
right?
20 years of folks in the community that I know. So
exactly. No, that's great.
So that's a brief rundown of my. And and I'm also a jeweler, as you can.
Yes.
See in the background.
Indeed.
I'm a silversmith. So
that's great.
Yep.
Well, yeah. So maybe we'll get into that a little bit, but talk about outside, and I know that that also, is kind of a work thing. It's a side gig, right? But what else keeps you busy outside of Magpie, involvement in the community, other boards or organizations you've been with, that kind of thing?
Back in 2004, I was the co-founder for Midcoast Magnet. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was the first economic development regional group started in the state, actually, that spurred Maine Development Foundation's Realize Network. So that was kind of my intro into nonprofit and volunteering the world. That actually, I think they just may have ceased to be, just because the area has grown leaps and bounds since 2004. And then outside of that, I mean, I just recently got off the Maine Craft Association board because of the jewelry, but I still do pro bono work for them. I am currently volunteer for Pope Humane Society. I just gave back a litter of kittens, and one of them stayed, so it will be running around here. Later today, I'm actually going to AIO to help with the weekend backpack. So I help do packing on Wednesdays for that. And really, I mean, you name it. I mean, I think that and Pechacucha, I was involved with Pechacucha for about 10 years. So we got all of the things. We've got the animals, the kids, the arts, economic development. So fairly well-rounded.
Well-rounded community involvement. Right?
And a lot of times I don't necessarily feel like I keep tabs of what I volunteer. It just has become part of what we do in our household.
Sure.
Right. And I drag the kid along with me. So.
Right. Let's talk about the chamber for a minute. I mean, you, as you said, you have way more insights than many people because you have been employed by the chamber for a number of years previously. So here you come again. What inspired you to think about becoming a candidate for the board at this point?
I think it really came through the MCH kind of hat that I'm wearing now, because it's been a little while since we've kind of engaged the business community, and I enjoy being engaged in the business community. And so it gave me an in for that.
Right.
I mean, my favorite parts about the chamber were always the networking pieces. I love business after hours. Obviously, everybody does, but I like the expo. And I mean, I like all of the other things that basically brings all of these people that I want to be able to talk to and partner with in one room so we can have those conversations. And obviously, a lot of them are friends. And so I think the pandemic was hard, and we all were very isolated. And I think that spurned me to I want to get back involved in our community in a meaningful capacity that also can serve me professionally.
Yep.
So there's both aspects there. So it's both selfish and what's the word? Community minded.
Right. Well, no, I think, being, engaged as a board member is another way to, utilize what I call the gym membership of the chamber, right? Right.
Well, that's
right.
On some of my notes, one of the things that I remember hearkening to when I was the marketing director was, your chamber membership is really only as good as the amount of effort you put in.
Sure.
I mean, otherwise, it's a listing on the website and in the jewel, but if you can engage the business community, engage the board, engage the event, be a part of it, then you can get a lot out of it. So that's that was my, why should I be a member speech for free? And what is my membership paying for? Well, it's for these things, but you have to put in your time, and I'm willing to do that.
Right. That's great. That's great. Super. Anything else before we wrap up that you'd want to share with members?
I think one of the things that I did want to, I'm a different person than I was in 2004. I think what I would love to be able to bring to the board is my evolution as a person in the community and as a community member, and the pieces that I can bring now versus the pieces that I could bring then. I think, having a child that's now gone through the school system, and having a husband that's been teaching for 20 years and being involved in the community on a lot of different levels, I now have different perspectives that I can offer. And I know a lot of people, and it would be nice to be able to, I'm a connector, and I'd like to be able to connect all those bits. And I did make a note that I will promise to try not to curse too much. Also, I will always
a little jar for you, or no?
You might need to. And I will always giggle at the word duty.
Yes, okay.
Just will, because
Well, you're probably not alone in that, so, yes.
I may giggle outward though. So
Right.
really, and I think that, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to having fun.
That's great. That's great. Maggie Blue, Magpie Creative, and MCH, thank you for your willingness to serve and for spending a few minutes with me today.
Absolutely.
All right.